Welcome to Colombo's Bandaranaike International Airport. This is part 2 of my Sri Lankan Airlines flight experience from India to Australia. In case you haven't watched part 1 yet, it is linked above, and in summary, I had a 6-hour flight delay, which resulted in a 14-hour transit, followed by a surprise upgrade at the gate. Now, if you don't want to pin your hopes on an operational upgrade, and you shouldn't, I'll show you at the end how you can book an outright Sri Lankan Airlines business class ticket using points. Due to the timing of the upgrade, I didn't get a chance to use the business class lounge. The Serendip lounge here at Colombo is exclusive to business class travelers only, which I wasn't at the time of visit. Oneworld Elites are instead directed to the Serendiva lounge instead. This is located in the upper level, next to the Emirates lounge and the Transit Hotel. The lounge itself is pretty underwhelming and is more or less like a waiting room. But at least it's open 24 hours and offers a decent selection of food options and a self-service bar. It also features shower facilities, although you would need to bring your own towels and amenities. And in case you have a long transit like me, this is the Transit Hotel that's located next door. I had spent about 14 hours at the airport, and so I was overjoyed when I finally got the chance to board the aircraft.
Finally!
The operational upgrade to business class at the gate was a nice surprise, but it also meant I was quite underprepared for this video. The flight was parked at a remote stand and boarding was done through a bus gate. And this will be the aircraft taking me to Melbourne today. The Airbus A330 is the sole long-haul flight in Sri Lankan Airlines fleet. Today's 300 variant is a 2-class product comprising of 28 business class seats. The seats are arranged in a 1-to-1 layout, and I really didn't have a choice when it came to seat selection.
With the rest of the crew, would like to welcome aboard this Airbus A330 UL 604 service to Melbourne, Australia.
The seats are in a reverse herringbone arrangement that is common to what you might have seen on other airlines including Cathay Pacific. I would have personally gone for the window seats if I had the option. The aircraft is definitely showing its age, but the seat itself was quite comfortable. The main downside was the limited storage at the seat. But never mind, as there's plenty of space in the overhead compartments. The side panel next to the seat has the remote, the headphone, and the power sockets. The well-aged seat controls can also be found here. An amenity kit wasn't provided upon boarding, but slippers, socks, and noise-cancelling headphones were all at the seat. Also included were the standard amenities like pillows and blankets. I was mostly looking forward to the food options in Sri Lankan business class, and a paper menu was provided with options we'll dive into later. Hot towel service was provided and a pre-departure drink was offered. It was 6 AM, so I stuck to orange juice. The safety video began to play, and I was relieved to be finally on my way home after 14 hours at the airport.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff.
The window views wouldn't have mattered anyway as the windows were kept closed throughout most of the flight. The flight time to Melbourne was 9 hours. Just after the seatbelt sign went off, amenity kits were distributed. This kit from Air is not the most premium looking one, but it's got most of the amenities. Also loaded with amenities were the 2 business class toilets in the front of the cabin. I have nothing else to add about the toilets. They were the standard A330 ones and they were clean. As I returned back to my seat, the first meal service was about to begin. So let's review the options. The meals were swapped due to the flight delay, with breakfast being offered first. Usually on this sector, that would be the second meal. There were 4 options available for breakfast. I'm a huge fan of Sri Lankan food, and so I went for the milk rice trio, and this is how it turned out to be. All the items were served on a single tray, along with salt and pepper shakers and metal cutlery. The mains itself was presented beautifully and served over banana leaf, which was the only thing left in the end, as I really enjoyed this meal. I had been awake for the best part of 24 hours, and the star-lit cabin lighting was perfect to catch some sleep. And so I tucked into the lie-flat bed and enjoyed 5 hours of comfortable sleep. There were no mattresses provided, but I was so tired that I would have even slept on a rock that day.
A few hours later.
With 4 hours to go, I forced myself to stay awake to adjust to Melbourne time, and so I requested for some Sri Lankan tea. And wow, I was blown away by the presentation and offering. I've never experienced this type of tea service on another airline. Awake and recharged, my attention then shifted to the in-flight entertainment unit. The screen wasn't cutting edge and had to be controlled by the remote, but it came with a decent selection of movies that kept me awake for the rest of the flight. In-flight Wi-Fi is usually available on Sri Lankan A330s, but this aircraft had some issues with it that day, which meant I couldn't test it out. An in-flight magazine was also available at the seat, but it was more for duty-free really. About 2 hours prior to landing, the main meal service commenced. This was split into several courses, starting with garlic bread and a starter, which was the potato salad. I really like garlic bread on a plane, and my request for more was happily accepted. Then we moved on to the mains, where after looking at the 4 options available, I chose the fish curry with roti. This ended up being an excellent choice and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Roti on a plane is usually pretty dry, but Sri Lankan have somehow got the formula right here. The meal service was then wrapped up with some lamington for dessert. Shortly after that, we were on approach to Melbourne and Express Path immigration cards were handed out. So here's my summary of flying Sri Lankan Airlines. Right from the outset, this Sri Lankan airline flight review was heading in one direction due to my frustrating flight delays and the ground service at Colombo. However, disregarding that for the moment, Sri Lankan really amazed me with their meal service and hospitality on board. Yes, the aircraft is on the older side and didn't offer any Wi-Fi, but a flatbed on an A330 is as comfortable as it gets for direct flights between Australia and the Indian subcontinent. If they can somehow sort out their aircraft issues and delays, they can really open up a solid offering for those traveling between India and Australia.
It has been entirely our pleasure to serve you, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you for flying Sri Lankan Airlines.
And quickly before I leave, I just want to add that Sri Lankan Airlines is part of the One World Alliance and hence bookable using Qantas points. A one-way redemption in business class would set you back 90,000 points. Now there is a quirk in the Qantas website that wouldn't let you select Colombo as a departure city. But if you were to find the availability on another One World carrier like Alaska here, you should be able to call up Qantas to book the same. Hope you enjoyed this video and got an insight into traveling Sri Lankan Airlines.